is one upfield. It's Waddle once again. He's in a big game. It's a touchdown.
Tua is 100th career touchdown.
This is the Big Spinful Postgame Show.
What's up, everybody? Dolphins win.
Going streaking, baby. Yeah. No.
Fins up.
Fins up.
Fin sideways. Fin
Yeah, more sideways.
whatever.
Words. Defense. A-chain led to the victory. Two bad things, and you see why this team has a ceiling quarterback.
Oh boy.
And coach. And we got no better. Let's introduce him right at the bat. Dolphins win. Let's do our Frank the Tank segment. Frank with his Jason Taylor orange throwback. Frank, Dolphins win 21-17. A-chain special, defense special, quarterback, head coach. I didn't think we're that good at all in this game, to say the least, Frank. Let us have it.
Love the wall play.
Dolphins tried their damnedest to give this game to the Saints, and the Saints said, nope, we don't want it. I mean, the coaching today was awful. The coaching was awful. Tua was awful. Achan was great. The Saints are a joke. That quarterback the Saints have, I mean, he is a sheer bum. A bum.
Oh, the rookie, yeah.
And the onside kick, where the where was the head? Where was the brain? Where was the concentration, the focus on that onside kick?
I don't know what they were trying to do. Let it and Nick Westbrook and I don't know what he was trying to do. Jason, Sammy, and Lopa, like he kind of let the ball go. And I thought to be fair, I thought that we should have overturned that, but we probably got what we deserved there by being so lackadaisical. It's like a shortstop, like just pulling up for the ball and letting it roll to the outfield. I don't get what happened.
And the play calling today for the Dolphins was a disgrace. It was a joke. All game long, what are they doing? They get to the A-Chan's running the ball, and they get to the goal line, and they go, you know what? We're not going to go to A-Chan. We're going to try to throw the ball. And Tua looked like Tua was. I think he might be concussed the way he was throwing the ball. I mean, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah, I just realized we have the wrong display. Ignore the score. I'm going to fix that. Go ahead, Jason. If you got any questions for Frank about fixing that.
I mean, I agree with what Frank is saying. I didn't like the play calling. You know, when you go back to the turnover that was forced, and then the Dolphins immediately turned the ball over with throwing into double coverage when you really could have ran the ball once or twice, softened the defense up, and then maybe take a shot. That was number one.
Oh,
that was an awful decision.
Another play that just bewildered me. You get that interception late in the first half, late in the second quarter, and then you just run out the clock and kick a field goal.
Well, that was purely not trusting a quarterback's arm or ability to create something out of nothing. You know, I right away I'm like, all right, well, no confidence in Tua there. No confidence.
So then why are we having Tua throw the ball when we're down in the red zone every time?
That's the play calling that you alluded to that was weird. I mean, there's no consistency with this play calling. And I don't know, man. I think Tua is very, very limited. And at one point, this game should have been a 30-point game. The Dolphins should have gone into the locker room at halftime, probably with, at worst, 27 points. And
here's another thing that always gets me is second half adjustments.
None. Zero. Never.
They never. They never make any good second half adjustments.
No, he can only, and I got the score corrected. I'm kicking myself for that. Having the wrong. The thing about Mike is he can only do it in spurts. He comes up with an idea, something's working. I don't know why it happens. I can't figure out why it happens. but he has his infatuation with making sure Tua comes out of the game looking decent, right? That ball should have been out of his hands consistently. And there were so many times during that game. I think there was a 2nd and 6. They didn't run the ball. Then they tried a deep ball to Malik Washington in the corner of the end zone covered. That one could also have been picked. 3rd and 6. 3rd and 2. They pass. I mean, it's just he can only do it in spurts, Sammy. I'm going to go to you here. McDaniel's performance in this game. You mentioned, because I want to go to you, because you're one who said, hey, winning matters, but not much the score. It's how they do it. And this is a game where I think, yeah, they won, but this doesn't go on the resume good for Coach McDaniel.
No, it was not a good game. The Dolphins should have won the game easily. Should have been a sweat. The Saints are awful. Next week it's the Jets, another awful team. It was an awful football game.
Yes.
Dolphins found a way to win because the Saints are so bad that they didn't do anything. They didn't fuck it up so much that they lost the game. But boy, that game, it was just an ugly football game, and it goes through what I continue to say. This team continues to accept mediocrity. They're going to be if they beat the Jets next week, they're going to celebrate the 6 and 7 like it's the damn Super Bowl. They're going to be doing that stupid dance. I walked by a fast food restaurant today that said it's selling chicken nuggets for 67 cents. Don't say it out loud if you're among your kids. I mean, this thing's out of control, this 6-7 thing. So it almost seems destined for the Dolphins to be 6 and 7 and probably to party for 24 hours, 24/7, and then they'll be 6 and 8, and then 8 and 9, and 8 and 9 is great and fine. It's the acceptance of mediocrity. It's even worse than being bad. Is the acceptance of mediocrity.
Yeah, I hear you. But let's I don't know how long you got, Frank. Let's have the two positives. It wasn't all negative. Man, Devon Achane is playing.
Achane is
at another level.
Devon Achane was really outstanding.
Yeah, and the defense. Part of it was the opponent, but the defense. Jordan Brooks again playing average time. The young players on defense playing a lot better. To me, Frank, you can take away from this game, the defense is better, and Achane. Those are the two things. I think if they play average either one of those units, Dolphins end up losing this game. But yeah, man, Lo-Fi, let's get you in here. What are your thoughts on the game, man?
Well, thank God we played the 31st ranked offense in the NFL.
By the
if
way,
we weren't playing against the 31st offense in the NFL, we might have had a lot of trouble this game because
here's a little preview of what could be ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, Tua was showing us.
There is snow showers and freezing weather forecasted for the next weekend here in New York, here in New Jersey.
Oh boy. So that's so let's talk about Tua, man. We'll start with you, Frank. I think you said it backstage, Sammy. Like we were complaining about Tua before, but this is bad. This is bad quarterback. I mean, this is bad quarterback. This is a game where you say, yeah, not everything's on the quarterback. You could have lost this game because you're quarterback. That's how bad it was.
This was a game where the Dolphins won despite having. I mean, that Tua was terrible today. Terrible.
Jason, is this one of the worst Tua performances you've seen? It's right up there, right?
It's up there in spurts. It's up there in spurts.
Devon Achane had more yards on the ground, almost as many yards on the ground that Tua had in the air. Tua was barely over 50% completion ratio, had an interception, 12 completions for 157 yards, Achane going out there for 134 yards on 22 guys and a touchdown. I mean, if you take out the sacks, Achane had as many yards on the ground as the Dolphins' passing game today.
Yeah, they start. I mean, I couldn't believe we were up.
Waddle only got 3 catches. The one play that gets me is Achane gets all the way down to the 9, and then Tua is like throwing these balloons over the Waller out the back of the end zone.
I was going to say that, Frank, too. That while there was a couple of throws that really scream what Tua lacks. The awareness now with the throw in the end zone after the turnover to, in double coverage. To throw that ball, major red flag. That Waller little toss, little duck, fire it in there. I mean, lead your receiver, fire it in there.
And then he's like, Achane's like 2 feet away from him, and he's throwing it like 90 miles per hour.
I just don't think he is a very, very good quarterback. And
no
2 years ago,
none.
None. And 2 years ago, when everything was perfect, he was very good. But you lose Tyreek Hill. You don't have the dual-pronged rushing attack with the Mostert and Achane. You have Achane, and that's essentially it. Obviously, there's still offensive line deficiencies, even with Austin Jackson back. But that was an interception, I feel like, that the Saints had.
Yeah.
It was a gift that they did not overturn it. And, it was a bad throw. So 2 bad throws. Yeah. One of them was an interception. One of them should have been an interception. That throw
that basically the Dolphins should have lost.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, do you think
the difference is
McDaniels think he started getting a hold of the game and that felt he was in control of the game? That's why he's like, well, let's just work on Tua. Let's get his confidence going. And
he always does
that. That is a horrible – yes. I think that there was an element of that, and that's a very, very bad recipe for disaster, because it would have been nice if, I agree with you, and I'm trying to get the right words here. They could have ran the ball more effectively. They could have had better play calling, and I don't care about building Tua up. You could build him up as much as you can. It still doesn't take away that he is physically limited. All right. And we spoke about this months ago, George. Is that hip, I feel like, is still rearing its ugly head.
I feel like we were one of the first ones on it. I got blowback on that, man.
I mean, I saw someone tweet, I don't know who, but they actually asked the question, like has Tua's mobility been lost? Of course it's been lost. In college, it was great. You have, a hip injury. You have other injuries. Yeah, his mobility is gone, and that hip is a factor. And the concussion scares are a factor. He is a fragile quarterback, and in this league, you need a quarterback who's not going to go down 4 yards.
He tries to play careful.
Yeah, you can't have that.
And they're very lucky that the Saints are terrible. Otherwise, it would have been a loss.
Yeah.
Perfect example, like Clown Prince brings up. You can argue the fact on that third down run, he slid.
He slid too early.
A team with a quarterback that doesn't have that kind of limitation, even if he's not a mobile quarterback, tries to dive forward and get that first down.
I've used the Baker Mayfield example. Baker would have found the person, lowered his shoulder, and hit him and gone for the first down. There are quarterbacks who would have dove to get that first down. And Tua gets up and starts celebrating with a huge smile on his face, like he did something amazing. It's like, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to get a first down, and not
it was a lousy football game with 2 bad teams, and the Dolphins forever trapped in mediocrity.
Yeah, they played down. They played down to their opponent.
You know what the most amazing thing I saw in that game? That kicker from the Saints kicking at 56, splitting the uprights, and it hit the top of the net. What was that? He hit that thing from 80? What was that?
First field goal in his career, man.
But now that we're talking about kicking, I will give credit to where credit is very much due. Riley Patterson has only missed 2 kicks on the year. I think he's like 21 out of 23 or something like that. Maybe even better. But Jake Bailey has been fantastic. So if not for special teams play today, if not for very timely defensive plays by Aminka Fitzpatrick, by Rasul Douglas. This is a loss. I mean, the Dolphins, you could say that there's a difference between a win and a victory. I know that there's not a difference between a win and a victory, but a win was an escaped win today. But I don't look at this as a victory. This was a problematic win.
This is what we put on the field after a bye week.
That's a good point.
This is the Dolphins getting a win against a terrible football team, and despite playing poorly. That's the best way to sum it. The Dolphins got the win. They didn't play well. They played a horrific football team. The Saints are one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah,
I mean, they have no quarterback. They could pluck people out of the stands and probably be better than the guys they have at quarterback.
I don't mind. As a developmental guy, Shuck's not bad. He showed some. There are some tools there with him. They're just young, but he's
better than Spencer Rattler.
Yeah. A lot of. But I want to let Sammy speak here because he hasn't got a chance to get in.
But
I gotta go.
Yeah, I got to get on with my day. You gotta get.
All right, Frank.
20,000.
Thank you.
Thanks
we'll see
as
you
always,
next week.
Frank.
All right.
Next week I'm going to. I think I might be going to the game next week.
You're going to be there? You're going to be there?
Maybe we can get a live hit after the game then from
I'm 50-50 right now. I'm going or not. But I'll let you.
Yeah.
That would be nice to see you.
All right. See you around.
All right,
See you
Frank.
well, Frank.
All right, Sammy, you go ahead, Sammy, because sorry. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got about over 150 in all platforms here. Come over to YouTube, guys. We got a bunch of comments in the chat. Sorry I didn't get to it. Maiden Day, Jamie, Jordan, Beach Wave, Clown Prince. Everybody's in the chat. Duke, Charles. We'll try to get to some of these questions.
If you have a question, ask it.
Yeah,
if you have a question, ask it.
guys,
100%. We'll get to it.
Apologize if you watch the replay. It wasn't the Dolphins-Panthers game, but that one's going to be eating me up for a while. Sammy, let's go to you.
I'm going to try to remember what I was about to say.
Okay,
having said that,
Rico, you're a podcaster. You can do it. Excuse me. You're a content creator.
thank you.
No, you
lightly, but I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
Well,
you said it right. It's not about just a win. It's how it happens. This one kind of goes to the point, right?
Absolutely, that's the point. If this is the win, I've seen so many. No, we won. This is my McDaniel's career. No, it doesn't. It should not be about that. It should be about how they win. And he keeps doing the same mistakes. He went away from the run when he needed. He makes some questionable calls. He lost a challenge again. Well, but that one I agree with him because I do believe that he was right. But that the referee did not see it that way. So he keeps making the mistakes. Where was Waller in the second half? They were not the game plan was, in the second half was atrocious. So he keeps making the same mistakes. So the Dolphins won. Rasul Douglas basically saved the game. And Mika Fitzpatrick with that two-point conversion interception basically saved the game. But other than that, Tua was horrendous again. I know that the Saints defense is, so-so, but that Tua looks lost at times. The decisions are not there. The velocity is not there. He holds on to the ball way too much. It's sad to see the regression that he's had physically and mentally, because it's not only physically. He cannot escape the rush running. He's slower than he was. The arm throws are, I don't know, they look so weak, and the decisions are bad. So it's sad for me to say because I always supported Tua. I love Tua, but you cannot. Hey, Curtis, you cannot go away from the fact that his regression is huge. It's just huge. It's not only physically, mentally, everything's got down. And McDaniel keep making the same mistake. So they won today, but at the end of the day, to say McDaniel, if you ask me, it doesn't matter because it was just an ugly win against an ugly team.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better there. I want to get to the Curtis. Welcome. We'll get your thoughts on the game, but
and hi to George's mom. Mom, I love
you. She'll love that. Yeah. All right, Jason, we got a question here. I know you love reading off the questions. George, panel, do you agree that Tua is actually hurting the ability and progress of Waddle? We'll start with you, Curtis, since you just jumped in. We'll go around. you think Tua is hurting the ability and the progress of Jalen Waddle?
Well, if we had a better option, I would say, yeah. But to me, who are we going to put in there that's going to give Waddle a better opportunity? Tua's definitely struggling. This was a game where, I was squirming. I'm like, there's something really wrong here. It's not, it's like starting to become hardwired. It's becoming so pronounced. It's irresistible. In the past, you could say there was problems with him, but this is starting to reach something very odd. But who are you going to Ewers? Is Ewers going to come in and be able to manage this thing? I don't think so. Zach Wilson. I mean, maybe if Waddle was somebody's mother, maybe he could help him progress, but I don't think he's going to do it throwing the football. So it's like, I think a better quarterback would get Waddle on track to do more. But with the options we got, Tua is the best option, sadly. I mean, it's really bad. It was so odd. I mean, he was bad. This might be the worst game I've ever seen him play because it wasn't just boneheaded plays. It was the whole structure, man. Everything. It was like 3 good plays the whole game.
It has to be physical because, like you said, there's throws that he made for through his Alabama career, through his early Dolphin career. It's just not lining up physically. You see, could it be? I honestly think, Jason, what we talked about when he came out, they said 5 to 8 years on the hip, and he's going to be a different player. And we're in year 6. I think that's what I can go. If that's the case, I applaud the kid because the one thing I'll say about Tua is anybody who says he's not a tough kid that's crap.
He is
the stuff he's come back from is it knock us in bed for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like. It's incredible, and I'll give him credit. So that's why criticizing him is difficult for me because if it's the hip stuff, he's lost something, and he couldn't afford. It's like a pitcher who throws 93. Once he cannot even tick under that, or the fastball won't show anymore, and that's kind of what's happening. But the one thing too, I will say, Tua's intelligence pre-snap is way more advanced than his post-snap intelligence. It's always been like that. Curtis, I don't know if you agree with that or you guys would agree with that. I think some of the things that you're kind of are seeing now. But go ahead. I want to go around the horn here about that question about Waddle is getting limited by Tua, his progress. Jason.
Yeah. I mean, Waddle, since Hill has gone down, has been very good. But, oh, boy. I got a full quad.
Is that an invite that you want to come on, Finstance?
But I mean, to
tag me in. I'm out of here. Tag me in.
I think this is going to answer the question, but I think Waddle could be very good with a better quarterback. So clearly, yeah. I mean, Waddle is a guy who has done very well since Tyreek Hill has gone down. I think his ability to be a number 1 wide receiver is there. But, there are times where Tua could lay him out, throw the ball a little bit too high, not necessarily get at the perfect spot to keep him going and get a momentum. I think Tua is hindering the offense overall. And I'm not opposed with doing whatever you can do to maybe get a different guy in there next year. I know, George, we're a month away or so from really diving into the draft class and seeing if this is a quarterback year. I'll tell you, it's not a free agency year. You got 3 or 4, 35-plus-year-old veterans who are on their last leg this year. You got failed first-rounders. I think the only guy who's probably worth anything right now is Daniel Jones, and you'd be a fool if you're Indianapolis not to keep him around. But I don't know what you do. I mean, another full year with Tua could be a problem. Another full year with McDaniel could be a problem. I know I'm jumping to another aspect of this, but when you're facing a 2-9 team with a rookie quarterback, down Alvin Kamara, off of a bye week, you should have put your cleats on their throat and not taken it off until it was a 38-12 or 14 game. There was a time where I thought that it can get to that in the first quarter, the second quarter. Then stupidity happens. And Sammy, did you mention it or someone mentioned it? The third quarter, the second half, they come out flat. They come out giving the Saints the ability to waltz back into the game. And that is a reoccurring issue. The issues are reoccurring here. You know what I mean? The same thing with Tua, the same thing with McDaniel. And I know someone said in the chat, we got to win. We're not going to apologize over a win. Yeah, I am. I am going to be upset over.
You're me last week. You're me at the Commanders week.
I mean, but now it's coming. It's like good football teams should beat bad football teams with ease. We're seeing a mediocre at best football team struggle against poor football teams. And the Bills game a couple of weeks ago seems like it was just, a little bit of luck. So I'm not thrilled with how they played. I'm happy they got a W, but in my way of speaking, this wasn't a victory. They didn't lose. This wasn't I hope I don't see footage of them surfing on the laundry carts, I
already saw Mike McDaniel, a pretty hyped up post-game speech.
Can I just chime in a second? So look, they should be surfing. They should be excited because if you're that team and you were in a hole, but that's what they should be doing. Then they should stop doing that come tomorrow. They could do that now, come tomorrow. But one of the things that, like, as a cover guy, I've been doing this since 21, a lot of viewers kind of get lost with me is I'll say, oh, we won, but this is not looking good for the future. If you're a fan, every win counts and every loss is agonizing and there's no in between. But if you're trying to evaluate, prognosticate, there is the short-term evaluation and there's the long-term evaluation. And they don't always, those crosses don't always meet. And so this victory here was needed, just like last week. But if you're trying to evaluate long-term, struggling against two poor teams doesn't give you the chill up your leg about long-term prognostications. Now, we could build momentum and start blowing teams, but really, you're trying to create an odds scenario when you evaluate. What's the odds of this happening? What's the odds of this not happening? So there's just two ways. If you're looking at it as a fan, every win is great. If you're a player, every win is great, and then you got to flush it as quick as possible. But when you're evaluating and when you're a coach, it goes beyond just the short-term evaluation and the win.
So I'll jump in on that one. So answering the question about Waddle, you really got to look at we can't really evaluate anything with Tua at quarterback. We can't evaluate it. What should I say? Tua can't throw the full route tree. Can Waddle run the full route tree? We can't even answer that question. Tua is limited on what throws he can make. Can our other wide receivers run options in their routes? They don't. They just run to a spot. Can Waddle do anything but run to a spot? There's a lot of things we can't evaluate with Tua behind it, and the whole offense is predicated on it. And Tua showed us today that he's being asked to do less, but he can still be inconsistent doing less. So he's a rhythm quarterback, and when he's off rhythm, he's terrible, and he could be terrible when you ask him to do less. So unfortunately, I think Tua's making even evaluations really hard on who you're going to keep on the offense side of the ball, because everybody's just fast, shifty players that run to a spot. Do we have anything outside of that? What does the next offense look like? Do these players offer anything that these new coaches or new GMs can even work off of? Because right now we're just seeing one version of what a wide receiver is doing. Can you run to a spot? Can you help Tua with his anticipation? Okay, that's what we got. That's what we're evaluating. Can you run to a spot? But I think it's pretty limited on what we're going to get out of evaluations and whatnot. It's pretty much an H-hand show. It looks like McDaniel tried to get off the H-hand show to try and maybe save H-hand's legs and almost lost the whole game trying to do it.
Sammy, you have something you want to jump in?
Yeah, basically, I agree with everybody's point of view, and it's not that I'm disagreeing, but to elaborate a little bit more, because I think Curtis said perfectly, it's different the way we as fans the frustration we feel as a team fan, compared to what the players in that locker room are feeling right now. Because the Dolphins at one point, correct me if I'm mistaken, they're 1-4. Nobody said
we won.
And basically they said this team is gonna go 1-16 and everything. And they're the ones who say we think we can win some games. We're gonna go on a streak and win some games. They basically said publicly they believe they will probably go on to win some games. They're backing that up. They're not doing it pretty, but they have. So for them to back that up, what they said, so many Brooks and others said publicly, it's a win. We look at it from the outside. Think we are not satisfied with the way they won. I personally am not, but I can understand why they feel like they're accomplishing what they set out to do. So for them, it's a win because they did what they had to do. They find a way to win. Next week, against the Jets, they go to New York, to New Jersey, in the cold, and they lose that game. When so many Dolphins fans are going to be traveling to the game because the Dolphins are now closer to being in 500. You have some reasons to be in the game probably. If they lose that game, we go back to square one because any single loss is going to demoralize the fan base. So it's a win. I'm sarcastically saying about going streaking and going to go streaking on TV on Tuesday, but it's a win. It's not such a big deal. It would have been a big deal had they lost the game, but it's not a big deal that they won the game.
I get what you mean. It's a great point you make too, though. It's like the players in the locker room, they don't think like we think. We're thinking more long term. We're thinking about next year. They're just thinking about right now. They go back to work on if they get an off day on Monday or not, and they come back with a win with a chance. That slim playoff hope is still alive for these guys. That means something to them. But we're not players though. And that's not our job to do that.
Yeah, what it feels like, and Curtis, I think Curtis, you're gonna love this point, or at least I hope you do. You know what this feels like? This feels like a bunch of guys winning a battle, but the war is not going to be won.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all right, we're all right. We got out unscathed. More guys on the other side are battered and bruised than us. We're going to eat our soup on the rock and take a little time to enjoy this battle victory.
Yeah.
But we're really not going to win the war. And when I say the war, I mean the season. Like, come on. After this game, after the Commanders game, going into, as Frank said, probably a snowy, cold, windy, elemental game in New Jersey, which – with a guy like Tua, I'm worried about. It's a 1 o'clocker, I believe.
1 o'clock.
How could you be confident against the Steelers in Pittsburgh? How could you be confident? Short week. How could you be confident against a Joe Burrow-led team now who went into Baltimore and slayed the Ravens to the point where he's counting down the play clock, talking junk pretty 8, 7, 6. That was just ultimate moxie and confidence from a quarterback who is playing on a turf toe, and he dominated the Ravens. I don't see us beating the Bengals right at this exact moment. Do I see us beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home against a Baker Mayfield-led team who is the type of quarterback, that type of a moxie that I would love in a signal caller? And you expect to go into New England in January against the potential number 1 seed, against Drake May, who's playing very, very well. I'm not going to call him the best quarterback in the NFL at the moment, but him and Mike Vrabel combine for a very formidable team. So right now, how many wins do you see that are easy wins? You could say 1. I can't say more than 1 right now. Whereas if they knock the teeth in of the Saints today, I'd be more confident going into New York. Yeah. I'm not very confident going into New York looking like they just got to win this week in overtime. Right, Sammy? They won in overtime against the Falcons. Is that official?
Yeah, 27-24.
Sammy's got to get out of here, too. Let
me
check.
Go ahead, Sammy.
Thanks a lot, brother, and we'll talk later.
Call me later.
All right.
I see you, Curtis Lo-Fi. Jason, I see you Tuesday.
Yes,
on
100%.
8 p.m.
100%.
Later, guys.
Be there.
Yeah.
Be good, Sammy.
But, go ahead, Jason. Finish.
Sammy's the best. No, but I mean, a win is a win. Yes, but there are tells. There are tells that this team has that are more than just this particular game. It's seasonal. It's multi-year. It's McDaniel. It's Tua. I'm happy that they won the game. Absolutely. I'm happy that they're still in the hunt. But does this give me confidence for the rest of the slate? No. Does this give me confidence for the let's run it back crew? Absolutely not. I know that I've said that I would like someone to come in and make a decision on the coach. And if they want to keep McDaniel, fine. Let me say this right now. I am 1,000% fine with a new head coach and a new quarterback. Wanting and thinking are different things. Do I think it's going to happen? I really don't know. Do I want change? Abso-freaking-positively. I just don't know that that's going to happen. But this ain't it. This is not it. They had the peak of a roster in 2023, and they fell short.
And they're as healthy as they've been all season in this game. Their injuries weren't an excuse in this game. And Jason, go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
No, I'll just tell you this. I have to watch the throw again. But that Waller loft to the back of the end zone, I mean, could he have put a little bit more mustard on that? Could 25 quarterbacks have made that throw and gotten it to their target in the end zone despite having a defender or two behind him? Could you have put that on a freaking rope and rely on a tight end to catch that? Tua throws a duck, and Shaquille O'Neal couldn't bring that in the end zone.
No, I agree with you. And the thing is that this is what I talked about. And remember, I was angry. Not angry. I was like, it's a win's a win against the Commanders. But then I didn't go against fans who didn't really go crazy about the win because they thought, well, because let's face it, we're in the exact same spot again. We thought, you know what actually was positive? When we were 1-6, 2-7, it would have been different. We would have bottomed out, tanked out, maybe got a high quarterback, caused change. This, and I've said it over again, in sports, not just the Dolphins, is the worst spot. And it's not because of draft pick. It's because it's good enough not to cause change. And what we need more than anything is change. And we had it in the front office. And we had it with some personnel guys in the front office. Mike McDaniel in this game showed you anything. You are not going far anywhere with a head coach quarterback combination of Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa. He does it in spurts. Mike has a genius idea sometimes in the run game in his concept in spurts. As soon as somebody adjusts or as soon as he gets in his head, man, I got to get Tua some stats. He's almost like thinking what's going to happen post-game. Like, what are they going to talk about? He's almost thinking like that. And he gets away from it. And do you realize we had no timeouts in the first half on stupid shit? Like 12 men in the huddle, couldn't get the playing time. It's these little things. Because he comes up with run concepts and it looks good for a half. And he's got glasses and he wears, the nice shoes and he thinks he's funny. That's over with. And I'm sorry if fans get upset because, it's a win's a win. Guess what? If you don't want to be sitting here next year at this time doing the same thing, it's not a win's a win, man, because it's a win, but it's a loss in other departments. And for me, I hope, no matter what, I hope Stephen Ross has made his decision about getting rid of Mike. And I've said this, and I've said it over and over again, Jason, I'm okay with eating the money and getting rid of Tua already.
Got a few good things to bring up. One, I think he leaves his tags on his shoes so he can return those when he gets fired. So that's one thing. Two, Austin Jackson. I didn't see him drop off and play on the right side. I'm happy to say that Austin Jackson didn't ruin the run game because I was starting to think Borum might have been part of that success on the right side. But next week on the bad side is I think the Jets know exactly where we have our most successful runs. And if it's cold and wet, we can't throw the ball. And all they have to do is shut down the right side. And it's going to be a long day for us if that's something they decide to do. And just kind of concentrate on just flooding that right side of our offensive line because Paul's side doesn't seem to have as much success. That might be something Curtis could look at. He's really good with looking at the Austin Jackson tape. I would love to see what you got for Austin Jackson for us.
Hold on real quick. I want to talk about
good. I'll do it.
Curtis, give me a second. We got almost 400 people in here. Let's get some more likes in this video. Guys, when you watch on that, come over to YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the little subscribe, the bell. We're breaking it down. Dolphins win 21-17 versus the Saints in a game that should have been probably 34-13. They won on their defense. They won on A-chain. But the quarterback play and the head coach decisions. And we're going to go ahead and talk about Curtis as we begin our next host. Finn Stanz is joining us. But Curtis, go ahead on that point. What did you see? Because you're really good at that on Austin Jackson for Bourne. What did you see any drop off? How'd the line play to you in general?
Well, we struggled inside. I think I just closed out my stats for the podcast, but we had, I think it was 6.2 yards after contact, 3.5 before contact. We struggled middle right, right guard, middle left, and I think we saw some success off left guard. So it was generally what we normally see is he's good at getting out there. He's a big guy. And because Achane gets to his spot so quick and then he can get through the hole, he's able to do a lot of stuff with not the best blocking, but they do just enough. There was a few plays I saw Jackson do something, but it was the interior where you saw a lot of issues. But then Achane even made up for it. He would stutter stop. He just came to a stop on a dime and came back inside. He was creating a lot. The real problem was the pass blocking. I think Jackson gave up 2 pressures, maybe 1 sack. Jonah, like 3 pressures, 1 sack. They rated Brewers 1 sack, but I thought that was on Jackson. Jackson struggled in the pass blocking a little bit. But we had 34% play actions and only 10% screens. So Tua really did suck, but the offensive blocking in the pass game wasn't good either. But it was better in the run game. But Achane he has a way because he's so fast that he can just accentuate stuff, and he makes all these small moves. But I'll do a breakdown. It's hard to tell when you're just seeing it. I didn't see any total disaster.
Jamie says, addition to 2, we need to put you. Jonah, what did you see your initial Jonah? And this wasn't Patrick Paul's best game, was it, Curtis?
No, he struggled. Well, he was going against Young a lot. You got to give him credit. That's a decent context.
Yeah, but I just noticed him. And
he had 3 pressures, 1 sack. And
Jonah
Paul.
How was Jonah?
I think he was like 2 to 3 pressures, 1 sack. He had like 2 plays that jumped out at me as poor plays. Jackson had like 2 plays. And then Paul had the one where he got beat by Young. That was a bad play for the sack.
Go ahead.
How'd you like Ollie Gordon trying to do his best impression of Achane on 4th and 1?
North and south, man. Do not go east and west. I'm going to get you in here, Finn Stanz. I just want to answer this one question from Duke. I'm trying to find it.
Actually, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go publish my podcast.
All right. Thanks, Curtis.
Thank you, Curtis.
Thanks, Curtis.
All right.
Always
good job
great.
on Saturday, brother.
You too.
All right. I guess while I'm finding it, go ahead. Go ahead, Finn Stanz.
Well, premise me with a question. I don't want to go. If I go off, you may never hear the end of the show. So.
How excited are you for this? No. Your thoughts on the game and defense, Achane, but the quarterback and the coach.
Oh,
were bad.
So
bad.
I made a prediction on the pregame show, which I love why I do these pregame shows because I'm watching the game going, did I say that? Did I say that? That this was either
that happened to me on my Saturday show with Curtis. We do a Saturday one. I'm like, did that happen?
Yeah. It was either going to be a dominating performance where you could have a little bit of hopium, or you could be a game where it's going to be a 1-possession, pull, grind your teeth, 3rd and 4th quarter game where the quarterback and the head coach are going to basically suffocate their own defense to being on the field for way too long and get frustrated with their own offense and almost blow the game. And that's exactly what happened. And it would have been I think a lot, and I'll say this, there are a lot of Dolphin fans who would have been more sad. It's crazy to say this, would be more satisfied with the Dolphins losing that game based on how things were going with the onside kick where it took 7 replays to figure it out. What did it touch? I have no idea what it actually touched. Did it touch a fingernail?
It did touch. Listen,
I know. It probably did.
It hit the thumb. I mean, if you're going to literally.
Was that Westbrook? Because I was driving. Was that Westbrook?
Are we talking about the last?
Was that Akine who touched it?
Might have been Waddle that hit the thumb. I mean,
what was Akine?
Akine got the hell out of there like it was a radioactive bomb.
Okay, so it wasn't him.
You're talking about the onside kick, right?
Yeah, the onside kick. Yeah.
So somebody did touch it, Jason. Then.
Yeah. So, dude, it glazed a thumb. Like if you would try to put an index card in between the thumb and the football,
it's unbelievable.
It would touch both. Like the thumb. it glazed it.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it because
No, I don't have a problem with it at all, but it's so Dolphins.
What I have a problem with is that the hands team didn't use their hands
No.
I've never
to
seen anything
catch
like that.
the ball. You attack the ball. You see teams that are falling on the ball to secure it. That's just
coaching.
mental. You could say coaching, but
Ackerman's
Ackerman's
didn't
been
prepare his team.
fantastic this year. You know, special teams has not been an issue, but you got to put accountability on players to know what you have to do at that time. If the ball is in your wheel, if it's in the vicinity, you're called the hands team. Put your hands on the ball.
Yeah.
But it did glaze a thumb, 1,000%.
So the way the fourth quarter went, the way the game started, you could already tell it looked good in the first quarter, but then you saw right away, Tua, unless it's under center, play action, his
Even that
inaccuracy.
wasn't good, though. That's a concerning part. Even when he's good at it, wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good. But behind center, he wasn't great, but that's where he's better. But his inaccuracy, throwing the ball behind Hill, missing on the fact that they were in the red zone with 3 red zone plays, not want to H-N. I swear, I even said on the game, I don't, even with the wet field, even though the Stephen Ross owns the grass company, owns the drainage company under the field that was sucking 1,000 liters of water a minute. I don't care what. It didn't matter. Everything looked great for the team to play, but I didn't want Tua to be a deciding factor in this game. And in the end, Tua had to be a deciding factor in this game. The defense gets you the football. Let's throw it with they already got it downfield to Waddle, where it's a 50-50 ball. You knew that was getting intercepted when we released it. Like every play initiated first down should have been to H-N. I didn't care if it was a check down. I don't care if it was a running play. I don't care. But the way we reinforced today quickly, and you guys can, what me and George have been asking for weeks, and I will bang the table. Please come on Finstock Sports Network at 8 p.m. to support me. Tua needs to be cut. I don't care what the pain is. Get him off my football team.
I agree.
He has proven today he takes no responsibility for his mistakes. He was constantly put his team in peril today. He doesn't get rid of the football. He got his sack. The last 2 games, his yardage is like 30, 40 yards below what he actually threw because he's taken the most boneheaded sacks you've ever seen in your entire life. Today, by the way, we knew going into this game, and I said on the pregame show on FTSN, that this is you run today. I understand I got into a big fight with my buddy Brett Lagasse and Greg Maney of FTSN, how if you only run the ball, you're not going to score a lot of points. Well, I'm sorry. Today, I didn't care. I just wanted them to establish something consistent because Tua was going to get you in trouble. And the moment they went right to the pass, he overthrew Waller. He had Waller for days, and he had to lob the ball. Well, the dude would throw. Dulcich had to go diving for the football. It didn't matter what he tried to do. There were no checkdowns today. I don't understand why. Give it to H-N. H-N was making everybody miss. He manufactured most of his extra yards today because I didn't feel every O-line in the NFL we saw since Thursday has been awful. Everyone fumbling. But if you have a star player, he's going to give you and establish the play for you. The 4th and 1 call, how Alec Ingold can be a captain on this team, what is his purpose? He's a fullback that does nothing. How you don't have him, they used to do it with Durham Smythe. Put Ingold behind center, put Brent Skill behind him, and push. Why are you starting on a 4th and 1, 4 yards behind, 4 or 5 yards down the field? Then Gordon is bouncing one side to the right. They had him right away. Like I would have preferred a check down. I would have preferred the jumbo. I don't care, but what they did there made absolutely no sense. Or what you should have done, maybe go get a quarterback and come in for a QB sneak if you can't put Tua in there. By the way, was Tua watching the World Series? Because I, being a Canadian, it was the Jays and the Dodgers, right? There was a chance for them to win the World Series in the bottom of the ninth. And what you learn, and obviously, Sarni, you're a big baseball fan, what do you do when you need to score at the plate? You don't ever slide feet first. He slid 3 or 4 yards before he saw the marker. The guy doesn't have a clue the guy can't even slide properly. We're happy that he's sliding, but he can't even slide properly. Like he had plenty of room. When he almost threw the interception and he had all that open space and he threw it behind Julian Hill, he could have ran for the first down. He has no concept of gameplay. And then beyond the comprehension, I do not understand this. They take stupid timeouts at the beginning of the game like they always do if they got rid of a timeout. You have the ball going into the half. This is such a McDaniel and a Dolphins thing to do. And you walk away with 3 points. With a minute left, and Sonny, I think you even tweeted it also. Why are you taking a first down? Why are you taking a timeout there? Number one, and then you waste 45 seconds. One, if you did that, get behind center and snap the ball, then make a play, then you use your timeout. What they did there to save for the field goal, you heard the boo bird.
End of the half. The end of the half play when you
the end of the half.
Yeah.
Wait, that is a fireable offense on its face, and you know how I feel about McDaniel. But that's fireable. Like, what are you doing there? What kind of coach doesn't want to score heading into the half to expand the play? I'm sure the defense was frustrated. That you get the Saints come onto the ball, they allow the catch on the sideline, hit or miss, whatever it was. But I wouldn't have challenged that if I was McDaniel. It was too early in the game. You blow another timeout. You don't win challenges. You're 1 for 70 in your career. So for me, my frustration with this game, a win is a win. I heard you guys saying it. A win is a win. Great, we win. But what does it change? All it does is it delays the inevitable, guys. It's going to delay the inevitable. Like, guys, how embarrassing is it that a Miami Dolphins football team, I could have gone to the football game for $5 Canadian 45 minutes before game time. $5. You could not go to Aventura Mall. George, you could not go to
go down the street
to the local 7-Eleven and get a slushie for less. Okay,
I can't walk out my door.
Yes, you can't. It's unbelievable. You could go to this game to watch this, and this is what they show. Like, my concern is that if you look at the way the NFL is trending, win is a win, great. But what are you looking forward to? It's mediocrity on its way. Like, the Saints, Tyler Shaw's stat line, I understand most of it happened in the second half. And I by the way, I don't know if you guys saw that they said it on the show, and Mark Slur said it, I think, or is that the Dolphins, Weaver's defense gives up the highest completion percentage. So I expect the teams to go down the field. The problem is that by allowing them to go down the field and get points, Tua and McDaniel's attack can counteract it. Like, to score 37 points in 2 games against teams that have won a combined total of 5 games out of a possible 17, 18 games is laughable. You can't win football games when you're averaging 18 points a game, an average of 18 points a game against mediocre opponents. And did the Jets win today? I didn't know. Did they win?
Yeah, they did.
I called that. You think it's going to be easy to go against the Jets and Tyrod Taylor? Tyrod Taylor smokes the Dolphins every time he plays them. They're not going to have a chat. It's not going to be fair next week. It's not going to be fun.
So
it's going to be cold.
You guys might like.
We have a better. I said this today. We have a better chance, and I will say it tonight. A better chance to win without Tua than we do with Tua, because the other guys, you're going to have to be conservative. You're going to be forced to use HN more, forced to use the checkdowns more. Tua's decision making is unbelievable, and as much as people want to blame Tua for his mediocrity and how bad he's played, remember who had the choice. You could say it was Greer, you could say it was Ross. Ross wanted to go replace Tua by going after Tom Brady. Mike McDaniel in 2023, as good as Tua was, could have said, if he's such an evaluator of talent, I need to see one more year of this guy. He had 1 good year. That's it. He okayed this contract. He continues to play him because he thinks he's the best place to win. And yes, I agree. Let them celebrate in the locker room. But the fact that there's no reality check from Mike McDaniel saying that we need to do this better, we need to do that better, I didn't call a good game, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. There's no accountability on there. Like, it's just, oops, but we won. So it doesn't matter. We'll clean it up. We'll move on. The problem I have is they've got this. By the way, their performance today was worse than last week. It was actually worse than last week because the dumb penalties, not doing what you're doing, like the stupid, like the challenge, not doing what you need to do at the end of the half. If it wasn't for Minka on that play, it's a completely different game.
Yeah.
Now you're glad you got it.
Hold on. I want to jump in here because I got a little flack for that about what does the win mean in fans. Now, it's not about the wins and losses.
No, it's how they win.
It's how they. Sammy said that, but not only that, it's not the numeric value because I want them to pick 4 or 13. It's what comes with it. People don't realize we are in we win 5. Let's say we win 4 or 5 in a row. We're going to end up exactly in the same place, but you're just remembering the second half of the season. Because look, this team probably is what it is. It wasn't a 2-16. and it wasn't a playoff team. It was an 8-win team, and that's probably where they'll end up headed. And again, where is that? The same place after the statement, just without Greer. What concerns me is Ross likes McDaniel, and he wants it to make easy for him to keep McDaniel. But if you lose this type of game, McDaniel's gone. Like you cannot look anybody in the face. That's where winning a close game like this, not proving you're a team that's on the rise and you did big changes and you're going to be a team that can, hey, we might be able to win 4 in a row, 5 in a row, and get 10 games and kind of have that pocket of hopium again. You prove you're just a little bit better than the Saints, and you're winning now. We're going to probably beat the Jets. Let's say we beat the Jets. Where's it going to lead to? Where's these wins going to lead to? Is it going to lead to Mike coming back? Now, look, if Ross already has his mind made up, and his mind is that, yeah, McDaniel's probably not coming back, we're going to blow the whole thing up, I don't give a crap. That's fine. Let's win these games, because for these players, like Jason said, and for fans who are not like us, right, who don't cover the detail, they just want to see their team win on Sunday. So for those fans, great. But for me, it's not winning or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins. It's what will come with it, the excuse it'll give Ross. Because this thing, I don't care if we take 10 steps back and we're bad next year. The only chance we have is by blowing the building up completely, and Ross suddenly figures out and hires the right guy. It's the only formula. Or else pockets of hopium here and there, because we got some high-end talent that can make you think that we're good, and we'll get a little pocket here and a little pocket there, and they're fooled, and we're sitting. When the merry-go-round stops, it's bullet point, 8 wins, same thing. It's just all facade, and it's got to be blown up, and that's why it's not about I want this team to win. It's, man, if we come back with 9 wins or 8 wins and they bring this guy back, it's bad.
But it's worse, George and Jason Lo-Fi. Like, for me right now, what I learned, what was solidified today, and I appreciate the people like C Devil and other people on my network who are very pro-positive Dolphins no matter what they win or lose. If I had a choice next, if someone told me right now to task, and I have been harder on McDaniel than anybody on literally planet Earth. If I had a choice next season, a new head coach, a new general manager, and Tua as your quarterback, or Champ Kelly, Mike McDaniel, and a potential replacement quarterback, I probably am going to say I'll give Mike McDaniel one more year.
Unless you're telling me it's still got to be.
It has to be everything. But
it's got to be everything. At least you're telling me for 1 year, but it's still got to be everything. Jason?
But I'm saying Tua Tagovailoa is
the
by
piggyback
far the worst leader
of that.
Go ahead, Jason.
Jason Freeze?
No, I mean, not that, again, thinking, wanting, different.
Yeah.
Thinking, wanting are different. It would be interesting to see if, let's say, hypothetically, they cut Tua. Okay? Cut Tua. It would be interesting to see what Mike McDaniel, if they bring him back, does without Tua, assuming they actually bring in a capable, even if it's a veteran quarterback, to be a bridge to either draft a young kid day 2, day 3 in this coming draft, or wait, build up picks for 2027, which is the golden draft for quarterbacks, what have you. So I am intrigued with how a potential of McDaniel can coach this team without Tua. Do I think that will be a shot? No, I think it either will be both gone or both back. I don't agree with that they should be interconnected together. Why would you do that? It shouldn't come to that. And just to get to something in the chat,
I was that last week, Sammy. I was that last week. Go ahead.
The Dolphins have made a very big mistake when you draft a quarterback off of an injury in college in 2020 and you don't invest a top 100 pick on a capable backup. You used a 7th round pick on Skylar Thompson. Look how that turned out. You bring in guys who are bottom basement, scrap heap kind of guys, like Snoop Huntley, like, Mike White. You're not rostering backups who could go 2-1 if they need to play 3 games, 4-2 if they need to play 6 games. You're going with a backup quarterback who is going to completely detriment the offense because they're not Tua, but that's not a compliment. That's not a compliment to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So last year, yes, they looked worse without Tua, but come on.
Yeah,
But that's on
Evan,
McDaniel.
hold on. To your point, Evan, you said they'd be worse. They'd be better without Tua because it would force McDaniel not to. He gets this weird thing where you want to make sure Tua gets his or Tua looks good. But you said on the show that low scoring. This is the formula for the Dolphins. The reason why they won 4 of the last 5, the running game and the defense. If they keep the ball out of Tua's hand and let Tua just do play action stuff, that's a formula for them to win. If A-Chain's playing this special and the defense is stepping up that much, if they would have started like this, honestly, if Mike McDaniel would have started his tenure trying to build a team that can run the ball and play defense, we'd be talking about a whole different story. We'd be talking about the San Francisco 49ers. If they had a personnel department who could build a pass rush.
Ryan Tannehill made a pretty good second career leaving Miami with Mike Vrabel with a team that was a run-first defense team, and he got to the AFC Championship, okay? So, for me, Tua Tagovailoa...
But he was also a guy that could use his legs and,
but Tua Tagovailoa could have used his legs today and didn't use them properly, right?
31 or 30, whatever that was. 90% of the quarterbacks go for that first down.
Exactly.
90% of them.
Exactly. And for me, today was just
the way he got up and the way he celebrated that, I had an issue with because, number one, he was short. But it was almost like he thought that he did something so good. He was so happy, but he was short of the sticks. And it was like, yay, what do you want, a cookie?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not something to go crazy about when it would have been something to go crazy about if you dove or if you put your shoulder down and knocked the defender and fell forward beyond the marker in the line to gain. He gave himself up. It's called giving yourself up. When you put that knee, when you start that process, it's not
where the ball landed. It was where his ball was.
It's where you start that giving yourself up. And the way that he popped up after that is a microcosm of his deficiencies and us celebrating for anything he does well. And I'm over it. I really am over it. He should have dominated today.
Yeah, and one point I'm going to make tonight, and my biggest frustration with McDaniel is less about Tua right now. It's more about the fact that in all the years that Tua's been here with him, whether it's Skylar Thompson, which he was there to draft, Mike White he chose, Zach Wilson he said he could resurrect, even though he was a third QB in Denver. Could have Gardner Minshew. He could have gone after a lot of other decent backups. The fact that he went to go get these mediocre backups, and that in the end he won't put on the field because he thinks Tua gives him the best chance to win. The fact of the matter is, Sting Steichen decided, even though I have a feeling the Colts are going to go a little downwards now, and I predicted that this morning that they would lose today, Mike McDaniel wants Tua to succeed. The same way Stephen Ross wants Mike McDaniel to succeed, Mike McDaniel still wants Tua to succeed. I'm still convinced they're still sleepover buddies. As much as he's getting frustrated with him, the fact that on that interception, you have all the clock in the world. Achane is playing great. On the first throw, you're bombing it to Waddle, where it was like an air ball. By the way, do you ever notice Tua when he throws the ball, and I said this on my show, he doesn't look where he's throwing. He looks up in the air like at the sky, and he's hoping it lands, like he's looking at a rocket ship that's going into the air, and it doesn't actually make it all the way up there. That's my frustration with McDaniel, is he doesn't have a plan B. His plan A needs to be Achane, but he still keeps Tua there because he thinks Tua can balance it. The problem is Tua cannot. Tua is your detriment right now, and it's consistent week over week over week. And what I also put on Mike McDaniel is the fact that in 2 opportunities, 4th and 1 to take the lead. He went for 4th and 1 last week, couldn't finish the job. The other today, 4th and 1, you didn't finish the job. Are you telling me Mike McDaniel on a bye week, as good of a play designer as you are, you could not find a way between Brunskill, Hill, Dutlich, Waller, Ingold. Achane wasn't even on the field. Jalen Wright, whatever. Mix up. You couldn't figure out a way over 2 freaking weeks to come up with a way. You still can't solve short yardage. You've been here for how long? Sometimes execution is on you. You in 4 seasons cannot execute short yardage. How is it actually possible as a run game guy? How does every team know how to run short yardage except you, Mike McDaniel? That is not on Tua. that is not. The players need to execute, but you're the coach. You're the play designer. Come up with a way to get one effing yard. We're better off on 4th and 5.
Sometimes, yeah, I agree. Sometimes.
I don't think I would ask the Saints.
Yeah, sometimes.
Saints couldn't get 1 yard either.
Lofa, I'll let you get in here because you haven't talked to me, man. I'll let you get in here. Sometimes when they say, Jason, it's not the X's and O's, it's the Bobby and Joe. Sometimes 4th and 1, man, you got to line up and just beat their ass. You know what I mean? Sometimes
the announcers even said it. The announcers even
what the
said
hell is
it.
Ollie Gordon doing? Put your fucking head down. Excuse my language.
You're right.
Lean. You're 6'2", 230. That's why everybody talks about Ollie Gordon. Sometimes I like A-Chain better because one thing we're going to talk about is A-Chain's vision in the hole and his strength is vastly underrated.
Yeah.
Vastly underrated. Sometimes you just got to beat the guy and you don't have the personnel to do it. So, again, I'm not putting in sayings to all the personnel, but, to me, Mike is that Mike figures things out, but he can't adjust, and he doesn't know how to change, and he has this weird fascination that he thinks a successful game is if Tua plays well. Sometimes, dude, go with your horse. Your best player is not Tua Tagovailoa, it's Devon A-Chain. Ride your horse. Tua's just okay. Put it in your back pocket. Take the win. Don't risk it to lose a game because you want Tua, because you came to head coach Tua Tagovailoa, not the Miami Dolphins. It's the worst thing that could happen to Mike McDaniel, honestly. He got the job because of Tua, but actually Tua is the worst thing that could happen to him because if he would have came in and did what he does well, build a running game, build an offensive line instead of getting all the weapons, and have the personnel department. The question is, if we have one, build the defense. That's where Mike would have been. You would have made this team the San Francisco 49ers. That type of style of offense. You could find a quarterback to run it. It didn't have to be Tua. I think it's the worst thing that can happen to Mike, honestly, because when he's at his best, is when he's coming up with the brunt skill stuff, the running game design, they're brilliant sometimes. But he stops because he looks at it. It's almost like he looks at the stat sheet. Man, Tua's 11 for 19, only 120 yards. Oh, I got to get him something. And he goes away with it, and they almost lost the game. But anyways, Lo-Fi, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, McDaniel's coaching styles, we're all friends here. So I got to help my friends out. Let's get to his contract. Let's get everybody going. But I was trying to look for a post-game interview with Tua. I couldn't find one. So I guess question, guys.
He wrote definitely start with me with my performance and how to distribute the ball. Like he's putting it on himself, but who cares?
Good job. Yeah, that was going to be my question. Did he make more excuses on his game?
No, he took accountability for what I saw Lo-Fi, and he said he wishes he had the Waller throw back, but he did say that they kind of took away Jalen Waddle or something like that, if I'm reading correctly.
Took away his first read. Is that what they're saying?
Let's play a few clips of Mike here.
No, but by the way, George, I want to just say this one quote.
Yeah.
You know what he said? This is what McDaniel said. I wouldn't say Tua played his best game like the pick. He could have thrown it to Darren Waller, but Devon A-Chain had a touchdown catch he dropped, and Julian had a drop. I didn't feel like the past game, the bye week impacted team. We hope things will improve with a win. By the way,
I'm going to play that.
And the Julian Hill throws, those were piss poor throw by Tua.
Those are horrible. The Julian Hill throw was a really bad throw. Could Hill have made the catch? Yes, absolutely.
A-Chain was garbage.
But it was a bad throw.
And the A-Chain throw on the touchdown, that slant, that was a perfect play call by McDaniel. I agree, give him kudos for that play call. But that was an awful throw by Tua. Put it on the chest.
A-Chain could have had that.
He threw it behind him. He threw it behind him.
No, the one that was behind him was the one to
no, but also the one for A-Chain was not at his chest.
All right, let me play this. Let me play this clip from Mike McDaniel here.
You try not to get caught up in the style of victory, because these are the idea is to end the game in the stadium with more points than the opponent, and winning football games, you have to learn how to do it a multitude of ways. So when you're able to win, you learn from the negative, the positive, and the bottom line is we have more reason to stay together, more conviction, more belief every single time that you're in the victors column. So I'm very proud of the group, and I think it does say everything.
What did he say? I didn't understand a word he just said. Was that English? Can someone translate what he just said? because that was gibberish to me.
You can read mine. I mean,
Here's the Tua quote that you were talking about, Evan. Let's see. This one was. I'm curious to listen to this one.
Yeah, I think you're not gonna have. Yeah, ultimately, in the past game, there were some plays that weren't made that I wouldn't say Tua played his best game. There was some stuff that was him, like the pick. He could have thrown it to Darren Waller, but he also had what Devon would call a very catchable touchdown pass that he dropped, and we had another drop. I think Julian had one. These are big time plays that you got to come up with. So the guys know that. I did feel in the pass game, unlike the run game, I felt the bye week a little bit. That was a little frustrating. Yeah, I think you're not gonna have. Ultimately,
I got
in the pass game.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lo-Fi.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't make any of these plays. He's got to be taking it from somebody else. He doesn't sound very intelligent sometimes up there.
He sounds ridiculous. He mumbles his words.
He also he kind of blamed A-Chain on that, right? Or no?
I'm telling you, people don't believe me. If you don't believe me that he's so freaking protective of Tua, and he wants Tua to succeed, it's unbelievable how much he protects Tua. Tua had a QB rating today of 55.9. 55.9. Taylor Shaw, even with his poor interception, had 91.9. Tua was below average. Tua was pathetic today.
But then it hasn't always been something about
it. And he defended him, saying, "Well, Julian Hill needs to catch that." Giovanni, sorry, people say how accurate of a quarterback he is. He missed so the Darren Waller throw. Darren Waller's 6'6", and he threw the ball 7 feet in the air. Where was he throwing the football?
But hasn't it through all of Tua's career the word confidence been part of what we talk about with Tua? Like,
that's what Mike was
if
here.
Tua doesn't have confidence, then we don't have the good Tua. Tua, for some reason, needs a lot of help from a lot of different things, not just on the field, off the field, because we keep on talking about this word confidence a lot. Burrow has confidence. Mahomes has confidence, but we got to help Tua with his confidence. So we have to throw people under the bus. I was like watching him out on the field out there. I'm like, he's having fun, but he doesn't really seem to be accountable. He's not taking any accountability.
Because nobody holds him accountable in the building. Nobody in the building holds him accountable, at least up to this point. I think maybe now the honeymoon's over, and they're kind of like, well, enough. You're not the guy we thought you were, and you're not taking us to the promised land now. We're probably moving off you. We know that, but there's been no accountability for him, right? At all. All right, let's play real quick Tua's couple Tua's clips here, because he did take some accountability. I will say that.
He better have.
Yeah, he better have. But still,
of course, definitely starts with me. Starts with my performance, with how I distribute the ball, how I operate the guys. I would say that first. But I want to give our defense, a lot of praise. Also want to give a shout out to Devon crossing 1,000 yards. And that's also big as well. And then also want to shout out some of the friends I made at Joe DiMaggio, Eric, Selena. See you guys. Just saying what's up.
Does Waddle have 1,000 yards yet? Nope.
Not even. What's Waddle?
Shout out to A-Chain, though. He's first.
Does Waddle even to get to 1,000? The only person who's happy right now is Calvin Johnson, because Jackson Smith and Jigba has 0 catches for 2 targets so far in the first part of the game for the Seahawks. So maybe Megatron's record will be there. Maybe Tyreek can maybe still have a chance one day in the future.
Nobody has ever hit 2,000 yards receiving. You know what that tells me statistically? That nobody ever will.
No.
Even with an extra game.
Yeah.
Who's the guy? JSN, huh?
JSN, but JSN has no catches so far today.
Oh, no, he doesn't? I haven't checked.
Only 2 targets. But guys, all to say is that in the end, you know what I'm sick of, and I'm sure George, you are, Jason,
Yeah.
we're Miami Dolphin fans, and what makes me sick is it reminds me of 2020, 2021, when the Dolphins had Tua, and like I feel like they're playing. We had more to look forward to when they won then. If they won these games back in 2020, 2021, we'd be cheering for them. This is ridiculous. And the problem is that this overshadows the season that Jordan Brooks is having, the way that Minka Fitzpatrick is playing, the way that Achane is like. We can't even come on and praise Achane because in the end, as good as Achane is, Tua McDaniel. In the end, I'm sick of the narrative that there are 53 people on this roster, and in the end, week after week after week, we come back to the two most moronic people on the team in Tua and McDaniel. And what my frustration also is I'm sure you guys were watching all the games this week during Thanksgiving. Lo-Fi, happy belated Thanksgiving. I didn't wish it to you on Tuesday because I didn't get to speak to you. But I think there's going to be a lot of coaches fired this season. Can you imagine if Buffalo fumbles it, or Pittsburgh fumbles it, or Baltimore fumbles it, or Detroit fumbles? There could be a lot of weird situations happening in the NFL this year. And the Dolphins I have this weird feeling teams are going to improve next year with changes and development, and we're going to come back with Tua and McDaniel. How can you possibly give fans something, Stephen Ross? How can you actually justify saying that your best chance of winning in 2026 is with Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel when every team does something to make their team better? How is that actually possible? It's this today. We played the New Orleans Saints, who did not have Alvin. Can you imagine if they had Alvin Kamara today, and they still had Rashid Shaheed? We lose.
Again, that's exactly right. It's like you go up against a team at home off of a bye week, a 2-win team, down their best offensive player, their most dynamic offensive weapon. Olave is questionable with a back injury. You allow him to have a solid game. He scores. This game, and I know shoulda, woulda, coulda, whatever, they should have won by 2 or 3 possessions. They had an
28 and a half.
I'm arguing with someone right now because I tweeted they could have had 30 points, and he's laughing, and then bringing up the fact that we're 1 game behind the Chiefs and the Ravens. Great, we're 1 game out of the 10th seed. Bravo, bravo, freaking vote. Who argues that?
No, I just don't understand.
We're 1 game behind the Chiefs and the Ravens.
So which one of those 3 teams have a chance?
It's not about because you can sneak in the. What do you think's gonna? Where are we going here? Where's the light?
That's right.
What's at the end of the tunnel here? There's no. Where's the light at the end of the tunnel?
If they beat the hell out of the Saints, I would have had a little bit of hopium that maybe we could rattle off 5 more.
Got the pockets of it.
No,
they do everything just
they
so.
Can.
They do enough. They're one of those teams that they're not good enough. They're mediocre enough to be mediocre. You know what I mean? Like they just do enough. Even the way they win games, it's just everything this organization does. And I want complete change. That complete clean the house, not Greer, not just Greer and the 2 personnel guys. Clean house. Quarterback, I'm ripping the Band-Aid off, Evan. I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. I've said that for a while. I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. Because you know what? And Duke, I want to get to your question, and I want to get to the sponsor. I forgot. Duke asked me earlier, and I forgot to answer it because he knows I love me some draft stuff about a quarterback. I'm trying to find his question. What was his question? All right, basically, I can't find it, but basically it was, would I trade up for a quarterback in this year's draft, maybe a Dante Moore? The answer is probably not. I've just started getting onto these guys. But early on, I'm going to tell you the guy who I like the most, maybe, plays for Alabama. That's another problem. We can't take another Alabama.
You cannot go to Alabama again.
Yeah, we cannot. So Ty Simpson's out.
I'm going to jump in there real quick. The reason why you can't make the trade up into the first round for maybe the 3rd or 4th best quarterback, because you're not mortgaging your entire draft class to get up to number 1 or number 2. It ain't happening. There will be other teams who are not giving up those slots. You need to make this draft, and I'm begging. It's a brand new GM, not a scouting guy. I'm praying that it's someone from Philadelphia. Everyone knows who watches the show. I want Alex Hallaby, but I don't know if that's going to happen. You got 6 picks in the top 110. You have 6 picks in the top 110. You can get a cornerback, a very tall prototypical receiver, an interior lineman, another cornerback, a safety. You could load up on this team. So hypothetically, if you have a quarterback that's not Tua Tagovailoa, that's a bridge veteran, I'm not saying go get Russell Wilson or Marcus Mariota or even Joe Flacco, but if you have an opportunity to build a team where just a solid quarterback can help you win consistently, that's what they need to do desperately this draft.
And I don't think Tua's
fill in holes.
And you know, Jason, I've always said I'm not sure if Tua's the guy that can be here with the young quarterback. I just don't know. He's just so much of a distraction. The name is just so much of a distraction. And in the way he kind of acts and talks, he has no self-awareness. I don't know if he's good for a young quarterback.
There are organizations that have cut bait with a number one, a number two, a franchise guy that they paid the world in. Mentioning Russell Wilson again. The Denver Broncos were able to say, all right, we made a mistake. Goodbye. And look at them right now. You know what I mean? Like you have first and second overall picks that have been on third and fourth teams. It just didn't work out. So why is the fifth overall quarterback so protected, so godly? You know, I understand Jason. It's the money, but that's what I'm saying. The Broncos decided to eat all of that money, and a year later they're in the game.
We also have to consider.
You also got to have the cojones to draft a quarterback that everybody doesn't think is a top 12 pick and take him. That's where the personnel guy comes in. That's where the GM comes in. Go ahead, Phil.
We have to consider in 2026 the Jets own the draft too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. If they want a quarterback and they're not picking the top 3 or 4, they're going to get him 10 out of 10 over us. Because we have nobody in this roster. We have to trade A-Chain or Waddle to accumulate enough picks to even get to the same room as them. And I don't think they're going to trade A-Chain. Waddle is something I consider, but that's for an offseason talk. But that's a great point. So his point is, if you land, maybe question is, do you like one of these quarterbacks who fall? Does one of these quarterbacks, let's say you pick 13, 14, and one of these quarterbacks fall, do you like them? You got to have the balls to go get them. You got to have the balls to take them. I don't know if we have the guy yet. And when we do that, hit or miss, I'm going to praise that GM, even if he doesn't work out, because that's something we haven't done here in a while. And these teams constantly jump us and take guys that, because they have conviction, and it's a power move, and it's why Greer's gone, and it's why hopefully, Champ Kelly, I just, please.
Well, there's
usually better this year with Ryan Fitzpatrick than we would be with Tua Tagovailoa. The Ryan Fitzpatrick of 2020 was better.
What does that mean?
I will tell you this.
What does that mean? I already know.
Hindsight 2020. All I wanted,
I know he's not the answer.
All I wanted that season was Ryan Fitzpatrick to finish the year.
Yeah, red shirt.
Yes,
I was literally saying, let this be his Jake Taylor Major League movie reference final year in the sun.
Yeah.
All I wanted.
And that would have preserved Tua. You never know what could have happened that particular season, but they were forced. And I know that Ross and Greer and those scouts were enamored. The second that Tua made that throw in the national championship game, the decision was made. I'm telling it was no matter what. He could have had he could have
cut off his left arm.
Correct. The decision was made. 1,000%.
They drafted Tua, not Tagovailoa.
And when I was a couple of years ago, or last year, when I was on he is going to sign an extension, that didn't mean that I wanted that to happen. It was going to happen. Okay? I thought that he deserved money comparable to his peers at the time, but in retrospect, it would have been a lot smarter to pick up the fifth-year option and have him earn it on the fifth-year option. That didn't happen, and now it's looking like everything is a disaster. He is not the guy. I'm sorry. He's not the guy. And year 6, 7, 8, he's not getting better.
Yeah, that's not getting better. When Evan says, "Oh, Fitzpatrick," you don't have to make that point to me. I already know he's not the guy. You know what I mean? But I'm just surprised how bad he's played. I think it's physical. I think the hip, that surgery is starting to get, because he doesn't look. He never had the strongest arm, but again, we talked about it. The zip is not as much, and he couldn't afford to lose any athleticism or any arm strength. He was at the bare minimum. The ceiling was bumping on his head of what low-level ceiling in the NFL to make those throws. And I think we're starting to see what it is now with he's little bit less, and now you're starting to see that, man, it's affecting him because even the stuff he did good, he's not doing good now, or he was good at. And you see it sometimes. It's not as consistent anymore. And like the throws, and also we got to say this: the Tyreek Hill gravity factor. Let's talk about that. Like that opened up a lot of things, right? Because I've always said, and I said in the show, pre-snap he's a lot smarter than post-snap, and Tyreek's gravity helped him post-snap a lot to open things up. He doesn't have that out in kind of that.
Do you guys see Tua doing anything pre-snap that makes you guys excited about Tua in that aspect? It seems like he just walks up and comes to play.
No, but I think he understands where, like when he's good, when it's snap back foot, he knows where he's going. He's good at figuring out where to go there and kind of looking at the defense.
Yeah,
but what
looks like
happens
some simple reads that he has to do his work linebacker.
But I think he's good at that. But it's when he's post snap is when they confuse him is where he gets in trouble. He's the best when it's premeditated, and I know it's going to say he doesn't read defenses. Yeah, he reads defenses, but not to the level of some of these top quarterbacks. I don't want to say he doesn't read defenses, but what happens is when it's premeditated and he knows snap, he puts it to where he thinks the receiver can be, and that's, you know where that happens? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in practice, Thursday. This team was when he gets new receivers like NWI. It's because he doesn't have the time. They didn't rehearse to play enough. Like it's like a you go see an act or a play in Broadway or whatever. If it's not rehearsed well, it's not going to come out well. Tua needs rehearsal time with his wide receivers. The best way I can put it. Anyways, let me get to the sponsor of the show. I always do it late. I should be doing it earlier. The Finn's Faithful Post-Game Show is sponsored by Rescue 305 Tech. Rescue Tech 305 IT Services. You can call Mike at 305-504-TECH, or that's 305-504-8324, or email Mike at mike@rescuetech305.com, or you can visit the website, rescuetech305.com. Again, Rescue Tech 305 IT Services. Mike will take care of you. Tell them the Finn's Faithful sent you, and they'll get you all your local services here and get your tech needs taken care of. All right, so should we look on quickly to the Jets here? What are we thinking? And then we'll do some closing thoughts. We'll start with you, Lo-Fi. Jets game, how are you feeling about this? Are they going to make it 5 out of 6, 4 in a row?
This is
Mike McDaniel stays?
Well, if you look at us in December, at best we're a 500 team. Going away, weather, obviously Tua and the weather doesn't do well, so we're going to maybe become one-dimensional. Luckily, Achan's pretty much is going to be the factor of the whole game if we're going to produce points if we have bad weather. So it's not out of realm of possibility that we can go up there and sneak out a win, but it's hard for me to see that once we're fully one-dimensional that the Jets don't have an answer for us, and it's probably going to not give us the W that we're hoping for. And I think our little dream run might be over, because I want to call this year deja vu. If you look at 2024, we went on the same winning streak about the same time, and it all came off the rails in December. We just started, trading off wins and losses, and we just kind of stumbled our way through the December period because Tua and the Dolphins aren't the greatest in away games, and away games with weather, I don't foresee too many good things happening for us.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think, I will say this, their running game, if they can stick with it, is more of a recipe to win at the end of the season if they continue with it. Then because remember, that would happen mostly when they were that pass-happy offense, when they had Tyreek and Waddle. So I do think if they can do that, I think it might be a little bit less than it was in the previous years of the downfall.
That'll be our X factor.
Yeah.
What does he can do?
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. All right, Evan, go ahead. Final thoughts and your Jets week feeling. You're muted.
Last week was considered a home game in theory. This week is considered a home game, and if we had to give it on a scale of A to F, we probably all give the Dolphins a D- on the performance both games as an overall team, because in the end they should have won these games handily. Because also today, this was the healthiest they've been all season. Except for game one, this is the healthiest they've been. Healthy Darren Waller, healthy Austin Jackson, healthy Tua, healthy Achan, Jalen Wright's in the lineup. Ollie Gordon was there. The offensive line was there. Like, So if you think about where they were from game 1 to game now, this is the healthiest they've been, and this was probably one of the worst winning performances of the season. To go into New York next week, I said it last week, that's where the rubber hits the road. And of all the teams they faced, the Commanders right now are just as bad as the Jets, or the Saints are worse. The Jets, overall, based on the last couple of weeks, are playing better than the Commanders, and they're playing better than the Saints. I said today the Falcons would lose because the Falcons always play down to their competition. It's just what's happened to them all season. And they play and they won at home. If this was a home game, I think it'd be a tight game, and we almost lost that game at home against the Jets. So this is not going to be a fun takeover. This is going to be, once again, the Jets basically poo-pooing on our season, and then what do? We basically saying, oh, we can still make it if we're 9-8. No team in this NFL, unless you're in the AFC North, no team with a wild card spot will have less than 10 wins. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Every team's going to have 10. So next week was where the rubber hits the road, and they will lose to the Jets, and the Jets will put a damper on the season that people should have had it in their minds that it was going to end weeks ago, and that Mike McDaniel should have been fired with Greer. I don't care how much he likes him. He's not a good coach. He's a very good offensive coordinator, not a good coach, excellent play designer, not a good head coach. And by the way, the number one thing I always said, and I said at the beginning of the year, I said it over and over again, the number one problem going into this season was the relationship between McDaniel and Tua. One of them should have left last year. And it couldn't be Tua because of his contract, so you should have gotten rid of Mike McDaniel, because those two together are no longer in a healthy relationship. It's like a marriage where you have irreconcilable differences and you still stay together for the kids. And that's exactly what they're doing. Because of the contract, because of Mike McDaniel's 4-year extension, and because of Tua's extension, they stayed there because they had no choice. And they did it, and it was the wrong thing to do. They didn't rip the Band-Aid off, and now they've wasted another season. That's exactly what it is. They should have gotten divorced last season. They got divorced in the middle of the season when they've already spent the money. They can't go backwards, so you wait till the month.
Give them the house
to do it again.
Give Tua the house. That's fine.
Exactly. But don't you understand? Think about it. All of us who in relationships, we're all been in relationships. You stay in things sometimes because of the circumstance. It's easier to stick with the status quo than to rip the Band-Aid off and actually
what you
make
know
that
versus
risk.
what you don't know, right?
Yeah. The fear of the unknown. You know what the fear? By the way, I'm sorry to tell you this, Lo-Fi, Jason, George, we're all very intelligent people here, and all of us knew what was going to happen this season. None of us are surprised by the shit show that we're watching.
You know what bothers me though? It's because what happens is you start off bad, and then all of a sudden we do the same thing.
What happened with Flores?
I know. Regardless what coach, the GM's been here. Whatever coach, you can change the coach. We can. We're always going to end up to 8 or 9 wins. The dial can get there. It can get there many different ways.
We were 1-7.
It always happens.
We were 1-7. Had the ability to go into Tennessee and wet ball Tua, right? Then we have the 8-2, the 2 good seasons, 22 and 23, 5-game winning streak, lose 5 games in a row. Then you have the chance to go into Baltimore to get the number 1 seed. You poo-poo the bed. Then you have the chance to win your division. You poo-poo the bed. Like it doesn't. This is Dolphin related. If anyone's surprised that they're doing this, I'm not surprised they're winning. But in the end, they're going to Dolphin and they're going to choke. And they're going to choke at some point.
Remember the famous Bill Parcells, or was it Bill Parcells? You are where you wreck your art is. Forget about the win streak, their losing streak. Evaluate at the end of the day. At the end of the day, they're the same thing. And remember what you thought before this season.
Real quick, hey, Vincenza, I had us at 5 wins this year, so they're already beating my expectations.
I had them at 6. So
I had them at. I think I had them at 9.
I had them at
8.
6.
No, 8. Sorry, 8.
I had them at 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I had them at 8 or 9. That was before. We were in the, I mean, look, I thought the 5-win total was a little, no offense, Lo-Fi, I thought that was a little short. You know, they have talent that's an 8-9 win team, and that was before a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Okay. But the intangibles don't make this a 10-win or a playoff win team. And that's coaching. That's Dolphins are going to Dolphin, what have you. And right now, at this exact moment, they're obviously going to be somewhere in between 5 and 9 wins. I don't know how close it is going to be to 9 after this performance, knowing you have 3 out of the next 5 in cold weather scenarios with 2 teams that are fighting and currently in the playoffs, and a team in the Jets who are, they're out of the top 5 right now in Tankathon. And they have draft picks the next 2 years that they're going to be bullies in the draft. They don't need to finish in the top 2, 3, 4 to potentially have a very franchise-altering draft. They're going to want to win this game at home against the Dolphins. Aaron Glenn does not like the Dolphins. Aaron Glenn in Dolphin circles is known as the guy who gave up the fake spike touchdown to Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
He's known as the cornerback that does not have his team have an interception this season on American soil. 0. I think the only one that they had was when they were in Europe. So this is a formula where the Jets could squeak out a victory and their fan base and team could be extremely thrilled, and it doesn't necessarily hurt them in their draft planning. So I'm scared about this game. I'm even more scared about going to Pittsburgh off of that game. I'm even tremendously scared about Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. They'll probably get T. Higgins back. You know who you're going to see, too? You're going to see, I'm laughing because this would just be typical, Mike Gesicki.
Your boy.
I mean, that would be hilarious. And Joe Burrow is the type of guy with that, competitive nature to throw one pass to Gesicki in the end zone at the goal line, and you'll see that guy jump up and spike that ball at Hard Rock Stadium through the uprights. Wouldn't be shocked if that happens. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff team, they're gonna lose to the Dolphins, traveling a couple hours away in state. Don't see it. Come on.
That's why
I don't. You might be dead on, Lo-Fi. You might be dead on with the 5 wins.
Well, yeah. How I got about that is this actually going to be part of my question I have for you guys, or it could even be something we could share with the audience. Do we produce a 1,000-yard receiver this year? I was basing my 5 wins off of we couldn't produce a 1,000-yard wide receiver with 2 Pro Bowl level wide receivers. Obviously, we were just kind of feeding Achane last year, just like we are this year. So I was taking that into consideration that we squeezed out 8, and McDummy doesn't know everybody is going to spend the offseason figuring out what he's doing, and he's going to have a very slow start, which was we did. But you know what?
55 yards a game. Waddle would have
what I wasn't expecting was I wasn't expecting him to actually figure out to run the ball. That's the part I did not think I would have faith on.
If you look at the last few games, it's cassette.
If it was all Tua this year, oh man, I don't even know if we get to 5.
The passing attempts have been less than the running. When this team runs the ball more than they pass the ball in a game, it's successful. Because the problem with the Dolphins is it was the attempts. They could run the ball. It's just they wouldn't do it. And rushing attempts matter because guys like Achane, they can pop a -2 yard, and then the next one's a 27-yard touchdown.
Well, on McDaniel's side, why I kind of can defend him a little bit on that one. In 2024, 30% of our runs were negative plays. So it's either we ran 8 yards or we got stuffed 3 yards behind the line. So he got really gun shy because if he went 1st and 10, all of a sudden, we got knocked down for a no gain or something behind the line. He's like, oh, bailing out. Tua, start throwing.
Yeah, I know, but I do think he still should have. You're right about that, but I do think he should have. His mindset, I don't think it was the
correct.
Issue.
I didn't think he'd get to this point.
He was paid so much attention trying to scheme guys open in the motion in the passing game. He's doing it in the running game now, and I think that's what's important, and I think that's the difference. I guess I'll close this out. Jordan says Water will get he's only 288 away. Who's going to throw a pick to the Jets? It'll be the first pick of the season, I believe. Yeah, we have how many we have now? 4. We have 5 now. No, 4. How many picks did we get today? We got Mika. Oh no, that was the actual.
Well, that was a 2-point conversion. You can't call that a pick.
Yeah. Jordan says, I hope you're right, Jordan. McDaniel will be done at the end of the season. I'm leaning towards he will be. I know, Evan, you think he's coming back, but I'm hoping, he won't. All right.
You don't realize, they're literally. You will not get the smile off my face the day Mike McDaniel gets fired. I don't wish anyone for
They
fired.
started with Greer, man. I'm happy with that. It gives me a positive sign.
Well, like I said, I want Tua off more right now. I want Tua more.
Yeah, quarterback. It all has to be clean. Everybody has to be on the same clock, right? If you start with this stuff where this guy's on one clock and this guy's on another, you already started wrong. It's not going to. So,
by the way, let me ask you both, all three of you, is this by far one of the? This is worse than Russell Wilson's contract because Russell Wilson's cap hit isn't as bad as Tua's.
Yeah, no, this
could go down as one of the worst quarterback. This is worst contract in this is worse than maybe. Sorry, Deshaun Watson's is pretty bad.
Yeah, that's because he's not even. I don't even.
He's not even playing.
He was on the sidelines.
That'd be better for us. Tua don't play. Stay on the bench.
So do you guys think this could be a possibility? There's just my fun, just made up trade that I came up with. Raiders have a ton of cap space. Geno Smith, he had not much luck with, but they have a veteran head coach over there. Could we possibly trade Tua to the Raiders, take Geno Smith's contract on to make him our bridge quarterback, and probably have to serve them one of our thirds, maybe, and obviously take on some of the Tua contract to make up the difference?
Tom Brady won't want him.
I mean, on surface, it makes sense. I would have to look at their contracts. I would have to look up everything to give you a final answer. But I mean, I don't know if the Raiders would. I mean,
because usually we're pretty good trade partners with them. So I'm like, okay, maybe
Geno is a bridge quarterback, especially you're drafting a young quarterback, or you're wanting to draft a young quarterback at 27. He serves both ways. You're not probably gonna be very good, but he's good enough to field an NFL team, be a starter in the NFL, a low level one. So
that's why I would think maybe both franchises look at it as this is not the answer, but at least we can create some optimism for a season. Everybody's oh, Tua in our system might be really good, and we'll be like, oh, Geno, he might get to see what McDaniel does.
Because I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if you can have Tua with the young. I don't see the mix, especially with the high one. But I want to go on Jason's point about you were talking about how the Jets. If they don't pick it, it doesn't matter because this is why I think the Jets might do the quarterback this year. Because if I'm not mistaken, are the Titans the number one pick right now, or has that changed? Right, they're not going to take a quarterback. They're not going to take a quarterback.
They're going to trade out. They're going to get a haul.
And Jason, this is not a quarterback whoa, we're missing out. We got to think about it. Even if we took him or last year, if a I don't know, let's just say Archie Manning was whatever his name is, the Manning, the Manning kid. Yeah, Arch Manning was Arch Manning. He turned out to be that kind of, Andrew Luck level prospect. There's not in this draft. So they're definitely, if the Titans pick 1-1, it's going to be a trade. And there's not going to be a ton of competition because there might be, but nobody's going to pay a price for an Andrew Luck. A Mendoza or a Ty Simpson are not going to generate that kind of value. So they'll have enough to go get him. So I think the Jets might actually take their quarterback this year because they might have the ability to go get him because the number one pick is going to be up in the air if the Titans kind of decided, if they end up landing with him.
You have a couple of teams who could probably move up. You have a couple of teams who could probably move up with the Titans. The Titans, obviously, the Saints, the Bengals.
But nobody's going to be able to offer what nobody's going to beat.
Not the Bengals, the Browns. I meant the Browns. What I honestly, to answer Lo-Fi's question, I don't think you trade away capital on top of Tua to bring in another mediocre at best or even poor quarterback in Geno Smith. What I think that they should do draft-wise, I think they should trade back in the first round, maybe do it again in the second round, compile picks within that top 100, but extra picks, and it'll cost you less money a little bit for, top-end picks, top 15. You might want to get back into the 20s. You could find what you need to find late in the first round. You can maybe, try to draft 10, 11 players in this upcoming draft. You sign a quarterback off of free agency who is a capable potential starter. You have Quinn Ewers as your backup. You obviously draft a third stringer or a future project in the top 5 rounds. You don't wait until the 7th. Learn your lesson there. But I wouldn't mind cutting bait. It's a huge dead cap. I realize that, but it has worked for other teams, and hopefully the right general manager can be the one doing it.
I guess the thought process maybe I had about that is Geno Smith, what does he offer us? Evaluation. If we're stuck with McDaniels, we're going to give him a veteran quarterback. Can he create something behind something that's been around the block, had success, can run an offense, can make all your throws, and now you bring someone like that over for a year. So if we're stuck, this isn't a theory that we're stuck with McDaniels. So we know what Tua looks like. We know what that offense looks like. Can he generate us a different offense based on a different skill set? And if you give him a rookie, well, we're not going to know for 3 years if he's got it figured out or not. You're talking about a 1-year evaluation, bridge year. I take Geno Smith. We get out from underneath the contract because now Tua's over at the Raiders was my thought process. And if it costs me maybe some draft capital, then at least, I could see see a lot more of that evaluation side with someone like Geno Smith over Tua at quarterback.
Shout out to C-Double. Shout out to almost 500 people we have in all platforms. Guys, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up. Take a second. Hit the little bell. Subscribe to the channel. Help support us here. We appreciate you guys sticking with us. Dolphins win 21-17 versus the Saints. C-Double has a couple questions. Mendoza's sitting there from Miami. Dolphin fans. I've started the process in Mendoza. I look at Mendoza. There's a little Jeff Goff in there. A little tiny bit more athletic. That's the kind of prospect I see. Not somebody yet that I'm ready to pound the table and move up for, though. If we were sitting in the top 3, he'd definitely be somebody I'd look at in the discussion. And I don't care where he's from or if he was a Dolphin fan. That narrative stuff with the quarterback, I'm done with it.
It's fun and nice. It's fun and nice for the marketing department.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm over that. Anybody else have any thoughts on the Mendoza stuff? Jason?
I like Mendoza. I think he's a top 5 pick. You don't trade the picks that you accumulated in this particular quarterback draft class when the top 2 or 3 are going to be
unless
gone
somebody falls and you like them.
If someone falls and you're picking 15, 16 and he's look what happened with Jackson Dart. Fantastic, but will that happen? I don't know. If there's a quarterback, right? If there's a quarterback on the board, I'm not opposed to it, but I am opposed to trading and getting out of other rounds to move up and get a guy who might be the guy.
Yeah, and Cito said Geno might not be an upgrade. I don't think that's what Lo-Fi was trying to say. Like it's just a bridge year. Because look, I will say this, Evan, Jason, and Lo-Fi, 26 is a weird year. It's not a let's get better year. It's let's redo the books, keep going. We're probably going to get younger. You're probably going to have to get some more veteran guys. You might not see, let's say, an Austin Jackson back or somebody like it's a year of still rebuilding. So their mindset could be, and I said this, if you're going to keep Mike, just keep Champ on that one more year, see how it goes. Because I don't want you bringing in a new GM because that candidate ain't going to be a guy like Jason wants in Hollywood if you're inheriting Mike. I know Jason disagrees with that, but if you're going to keep them both, keep them both for 1 year.
The horse, you could do that. You don't have to.
Right.
But I would not keep a head coach here for 1 more year and potentially lose out on the next great general manager. If you have to fire the coach, fine, fire the freaking coach. Bring in the general manager. That's
right. I'm saying if you're going to end up keeping Mike, I think Champ Kelly's the best tier candidate you'll get. That's just my opinion. So you might as well keep him on the same clock. 27 is a year of a better draft, better quarterback. Hopefully you probably won't be good in 26, but I still think you got to blow it up. You can't waste a year. You got to go get the best GM candidate, the best head coach, start the clock. And if the quarterback you like this year's there, if not, drop players, best players available. Get the best players in the building. Figure it out later. I always say that in the draft. Baltimore, all these teams, they take the best play. Philadelphia, they figure the shit out later. You take the best high impact. We do not have enough blue chip prospects on this roster. Jordan Brooks is not a blue chip prospect. Zach Steeler is not a blue chip prospect. These are guys we look at as our best players on our team in a vacuum, but we're looking at other teams and where they draft. Even the Bears, you want to look at that rebuild. They drafted some blue chip guys in that process on the offensive line. They added veterans on the offensive line. Think what you want of Caleb Williams, but they got some guys even there. Denver Broncos, they've drafted blue chip guys on the defense. They got their quarterback. Like, they're doing it the right way. This is not how we're doing it. So we got to kind of redo the whole thing. And to me, if you're going to do it all at once. All right. Mendoza's intriguing for sure. Now we should try to win next year and every year. That's what I want to close with, right? Like, both things can be true here. You shouldn't feel guilty about wanting your team to win, but I don't think you should also feel guilty if you're not excited about the win. Because if you've been a fan for this team for multiple years, all we've done is run this same cycle over again, and we're in it again. And how do we get out of it? There's no way to get out of it. The only way to get out of it is changing everything in the building. And that's not only going to come with probably not winning the next, 5 games or whatever we have left. It's if we end up winning 9 games and you're sitting at the end of the year and you're excited about it, but everybody comes back, to me, that's the worst thing that can happen. So don't feel guilty about that, because a lot of fans are like, I'm rooting for my team to lose. No, you're not rooting for lose. You're rooting for change. You're rooting for change. And again, if you're rooting for your team to win and you're happy the Dolphins won this game and you don't dig deep like we do, some fans look at it on the surface, Jason and Evan, they don't look at it like us, right? They don't take the lo-fi. They don't take the deep dive. They just like to watch their team win on Sunday. You don't have to feel sorry about that either. Both things are right. But the bottom line is the health of this franchise is not going to be with Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel at the helm. So whatever has to happen to make that happen, so we don't keep wasting years, because we wasted the last 15 on 2 quarterbacks that were good enough to be good enough and not good enough. Enough's enough. Blow it up and don't feel guilty. If your team's winning or losing, you can take either stand, because at the end of the day, this team's not going anywhere this year. So I understand both sides of that take. I don't know if anybody has anything to jump on with the whole win-loss thing, because I've been getting a lot of that in the last few weeks. But I see both sides. I think both things can be true at the same time, right? You can enjoy winning as long as they don't keep the coach or the quarterback. I don't care what the win number is at the end. I'd rather enjoy doing a win. Jason, do you have anything to say on that, or anybody in the panel want to close it out?
I understand 3 wins in a row. That's great. I'm happy about that. I am. I understand it's 4 wins out of the last 5. I understand that. Happy about that. But am I still concerned about the overall future of where this direction of this team is going? Absolutely. You're allowed to have both of those thoughts. I'm not going to tell anyone to stop celebrating for the win. Do that, but also you should really just turn the page next week and hope that there is a better overall performance against a Jets team, that you will know if this team is really changing their toughness by going into a December road game against an AFC East rival. If that happens, I'm a lot happier than I am today. If it's the same old, it's the same old, same old.
All of us up here, all we want to do is have a chance to hold up the Lombardi. Not even hold it up. Know that we can go out there on a Sunday and we feel this is a team that can make a deep playoff run. And this setup and this formula, and that's just the bottom line. Now, if you want to look at it on a base of Sunday to Sunday and you enjoy the win, it's happy when your team wins. But I look at the big picture. I look at my goals are higher. I've rooted for this team for 30 years, and I haven't even seen them come close to it. And that's the goal for me. And I know what it looks like. I know what a winning formula looks like. I watch the Heat down here. I watch the Panthers. I know what a winning organization looks like. And this is just not the setup, and it won't be until it changes. So that's how I look at it. But enjoy your wins. But if you want to hold the Lombardi, we got to hope for change. That simple as that. You can
That's
do both.
fair.
That's it. Evan, you have anything to say, or Lo-Fi?
It's sort of I'll let Lo-Fi go last. Let me just.
No.
No. Get it out of the way quick. We talked about it a little bit on Tuesday on Finn's TV. What we're thankful for, right? We did a little turnaround. You guys all did your shows, which you guys had a great time doing.
We had a great one. Yeah.
And we talked about how I was thankful to Von Achan. Von Achan came through again today. But one thing we all came through, and one of you said it, was that we're thankful for each other and our relationships we have with each other and the community that we've built. Could you just imagine Jason, Lo-Fi, and George? If we did not have, if this was the Dolphins team we were watching in the Mike McDaniel tour era, and we didn't have podcasting, could you imagine if we didn't have this community to vent and engage and not chat and challenge each other? Could you just imagine the level of anger, the amount of? I guarantee you, the fight, the infighting in families, going after your friends. You'd be walking by someone bumps into you, you beat the crap out of them because the Dolphins were frustrated that game. Like, if we didn't have this outlet for each other.
Yeah, man.
Like I talk to my mom all the time, and I say, she goes, "It's she watches me, and she goes, it's the coolest thing to watch you because you get to. If you didn't have this, you balled it up for all these years. I've watched you since you were like a little kid, getting so angry about this football team, and now you get angry, but then the next day you're fine because you get to go talk to your friends, and you get to who you've met all throughout North America, and you get to express how you feel. Like this game today, if we didn't have this to do it, this win would anger me all night. It would bother me.
It keeps me from having a couple beers right after the game too.
Yeah.
It does that.
Well, so what are my takeaway from today is I'm thankful. Once again, you guys just had Thanksgiving in the U.S.
Yeah.
I had it last month. I'm thankful for you, Jason. I'm thankful for you, Lo-Fi. I'm thankful for you, George. And the same people who are watching the show, whether it's Frank the Tank, whether it's Sammy, who I'm going to see in 2 hours. Guys, if you want to jump on and add on later, something to say, Bobby and I would love to have you. And then also with Curtis, like if we didn't have each other and this network and the networks that we're on to engage with each other, this would be much more difficult to do. To watch this team fumble the way they did today, it'd be much harder.
And I just want to say something. Lo-Fi's a new member of the Fins Faithful team, and I just want to shout out to him coming on here with a smooth transition, and he's helped me a lot. We talked a lot behind the scenes. We got some ideas cooking.
Great voice.
And so Lo-Fi officially welcome. Jason, I know, is welcomed you to the Fins Faithful team. Lo-Fi, thank you for deciding to team up with us and join us. And I appreciate the new friendship I built with Lo-Fi as well. Jason already knows, and Evan, you already know how I feel about you. But I just want to say that to Lo-Fi. Thank you.
We got your back. We always.
Hey, thank you, George. Constanza,
Appreciate
Jason.
you, Lo-Fi. Appreciate you, brother.
I'm glad you had that link that day. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. So, Greer got fired. You had a link going, and then a friendship started. So, it's I said, we said, like, what made you do it? I said, yes, pure luck. I was so jacked that moment.
Then we started talking. We hit it off. You know what I mean? So,
it
happens.
I randomly came across a show on a network I will not name for the sake of my sanity and other people on this network sanity.
Probably.
No. Bobby was on a network that we shall remain nameless. And he was I came across this show, and he was doing a show, I think, with Brett, and they were doing this show about something. And then they go, if anyone ever wants to come on, and that was almost 4 years ago. Like, I was like 2020.
So Lo-Fi is my Evan.
Lo-Fi's your Evan. Lo-Fi's your Evan. 4 years later. So when people on the Tuesday night show said, like, the medallion, like, I go, the creation of Constanza isn't me. It's Bobby. Bobby brought me into this world, and I can't be without it. It's my drug. It's a drug. Honestly, it's a healthy drug.
It brings me to what I want to say about that. Constanza, you're on your shows. Bobby comes on, he's on his shows. Bobby Schaus comes on, he's on his other shows. I very much appreciate podcasters who have their own brands, but it's not like a war. All right, we're all in the same team. We're all in the same community. We're not fighting for views. People could watch shows after the other. Stop with the petty crap.
Some get more than some weeks. You get more than others. Some weeks you don't.
Sure, we're all here on the same fan base, talking about a team that we love from all over North America, different countries. You know what I'm saying? Stop with the petty bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, they even look at Rainy Day, right? With Adrian, who you guys have on great, who you do a lot of shows with. Adrian has a wrestling show, and Bobby was on that show. And Bobby, we've had No Holds Bar, this wrestling show that I used to do a couple of years ago with a couple other guys for years. We've had it on our network, and that was he did Rainy show, Adrian's show before he did his own. Like he was promoting Survivor Series yesterday on another network before he went on his own network.
Yeah, the wrestling stuff. I gotta start watching you guys. The wrestling stuff, I'm not in that world, but you guys do. All you guys do. I mean, just Sammy does. I mean, everybody. Bobby, you said Rainey. All these guys. It seems like I'm the only one who has a Dolphin podcast and not a wrestling podcast.
No, we have baseball. Yeah, but we all have our strengths. But you do a lot more. You do it in a different way, right? Like what you, Jason, have put together. You guys have brought on amazing guests for different things. What I feel like FTSN is known for is we can get guests on, but what we're good is for the content creation across all sports. So, for example, and I'd love to have Sarni on it, but for example, during the World Series, this guy Russ Morgan, who's a big, deep baseball fan, he gets into the nitty-gritty of the draft stuff. I don't love the draft stuff of baseball, but when it comes to the playoffs and what's happening in the regular season, I can talk to him at a level that no one else on the network can, for example. So I go on and I did the whole baseball thing with him. That's what makes us unique on FTSN, is it doesn't matter. We have people who can focus on the Heat. We have people that can focus on wrestling. We have people who can focus on fantasy football. So that's where our niche is, right? So that's why we want to support Fins Faithful. That's why we want to support Fins TV. Also, the way you promote your show, the way you guys produce your show, the way Sammy produces his show, the way Curtis produces his, the way Adrian produces his, we all have our unique way of presenting it. And that's what makes us all strong is we also share each other's ideas and we bring them together. Like if we think something's going to be good for your show, we're going to tell you.
Thank you, Jordan. We love everybody. Jason, I say it all the time. These people that come watch the show, I'm like, why are you watching me? Like, you know, I mean, what am I doing? But and I
doing a great job.
I appreciate it so much. I want to be also known. Draft season is what we want to be most known about.
That's George's baby. He's starting that board soon.
That board's
He's starting that big board soon.
You and Bobby. Bobby's already taking notes.
Spoiler list: Francisco Mendoza is not QB1 so far on my board. So that's just all right.
And if fans haven't seen it, you had a great top 25 show just earlier in the week. That definitely check out. I mean, that one was diamonds. That was a very good show, George. Really appreciate that one that you did with him.
Yeah, he's really good. Why is his name? Why does his name escape me? Who I had on? I don't know why. I'm thinking of the other Draft Network draft content creator. But please check it out with Jason. What's his name that I had on? The draft, your guy, the Draft Network guy.
Justin Mello?
Justin Mello, yeah. I'm thinking of Jamie Eisner, the other one I had on.
No, Mello's great.
Yeah, Mello is great. Apologize.
And one thing Mello's not is mellow.
Yeah, he's not mellow. He was in it. I thought I was going to get 20 minutes out of him. He gave me like 45 of just hardcore draft stuff.
He speaks directly to prospects. He's the real deal.
He hasn't released that on the Draft Network anywhere. He said
he's the real deal.
I'm comfortable with the top 25 right now, and he exclusively dropped that. So check that out. Also, the show with Doug. And Wednesday, we're going to keep it in a wrap, but we have a very special guest on Wednesday. Right, Jason? We're going to have very special guests. We'll leave it at that. And
good Dolphins content on the way this week.
Yes, we got to keep to the social medias. For Frank the Tank, Finn Sammy, Curtis, Lo-Fi, Jason Sarney, Finn Stanza, for myself, guys, thank you guys for going with over 2 hours with us. We appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, subscribe, support the channel. We appreciate it. And support all these guys as well. Thank you guys. Fins up. Stay safe. We're out.